that. TheSadness100 asks, if you could go back in time to any period, which would you choose? And I can bring Sidra as well. Okay, well let's look at all the times. Pre-human, that would suck. Stone Age, suck. Bronze Age, suck. Early Iron Age, suck. Iron Age. Well, let's split that up into a smaller category, shall we? I forget the name of it, but pre-Baroque, sort of like pre-Christian, would suck. Wait, actually pre-Christian was Bronze Age, wasn't it? Okay, moving on. The Christian era, like the first few, there's advantages to it. Of course, the environment's great. But then there's, like, Mongols trying to kill everyone and stuff like that. And not very good, I mean, clean water. It would be clean water, but a lot of manual labor and stuff like that. It would suck. Okay, let's move on and go to the Baroque period. That would kind of suck. Especially in the Dark Ages. Lots of disease, lots of feudalism. That would suck. Go to the Renaissance. Much better. Well, quite interesting. There'd still be a lot of things like Salem witch trials and stockades and kings that have control over everything. Religion is extremely important. Constant warring. I mean, there's a lot of innovation and invention in those periods of time, but it would suck. Then we get into sort of the, I forget what the name of the period after that is called. It's sort of before the Industrial Age, but after the Renaissance or Renaissance or however you want to call it. Once again, the times are getting better. We've got a little bit more technology. We've got a little bit more convenience. Not everyone's a farmer anymore. There's a lot of like exploration throughout the United States, and that would be interesting. Now, maybe if you're talking a time period for just a moment, like a week or two, that might be interesting. I might pick just pre-Christian. That might be pretty cool. Do something like ancient Greece. It might be interesting. Be in a toga. Okay. But anyhow, let's continue on with the whole thing. Pre-industrial would suck. Industrial starting to get a bit better, but then there's a lot of prejudice during that period of time. I think that my relationship with Sidra would be really frowned upon, especially since I gave her so much independence. I think that it would kind of suck. She would be expected to stay home and stuff like that. Then we'll go into sort of the mid-90s. There was a lot of wars, like World War II, Vietnam War, that sort of thing. And once again, still the same thing with the independence on women. There was still quite a bit of oppression at that point. There was the whole Red Scare, which was not cool. There was not a major depression that period. There was more of some minor depressions and stuff like that. Somewhat similar to what we have now, and that would suck. We could move back like 10 years ago or 20 years ago, and there are some nice things in there. If I had to choose, I guess it would be just a couple of years ago. Just go back to like 1995. Although the operating system sucked back then, I can't help but I think that I prefer our technological progression. So if it's more than a little while, I want to be as little ago as possible. 5 seconds ago. Let's go 5 seconds ago. Or maybe a couple years, just so that we have that many more years. No, I think 5 seconds ago is about right. Sorry for the length of the answer of that one, but I'm fully answering these questions. GFA Treek 2 asks, are you a Democrat or Republican? I am a Democrat, and I think I've answered that already. Mad Dude Guy 2600 asks, have you ever been robbed or mugged? No. Unless it's like a kid stealing something from you and throwing it away. That's, I guess, robbed. I had a little bouncy ball. The very first bouncy ball I ever had, I started playing it with it for like 5 minutes. Some kid got jealous, grabbed it, and threw it as hard as he could, and it went down the grate in the pavement, in the asphalt. And I was pissed. I was like, I will kill you, and I will make it look like an accident. Oh, okay. Quintinnielsen asks, hey, I have a question. When you were in school, were you a nerd? I'm not saying you are now. And if you were, did people make fun of you? And what did you do to help with people making fun of you? I wasn't so much of a nerd as I was an annoyance. I was very annoying. But that sort of was my defense mechanism. Because people would make fun of me, but I would be making fun of me at the same time. And every time that somebody would try to bully me or end up doing something that was, that would normally hurt my self-esteem, I would do things that would end up basically making them totally regret bothering me, because I would just be the most irritating, annoying creature on the face of the frickin' planet, like everything you could possibly imagine, to annoy them. And amazingly, I didn't actually get beat up or anything like that very often. Also, I wasn't in school for very long, so it's not. I don't have a huge range of time that I was in school, so I was in a couple schools here and there. So, what's this weird look? Why am I going, hey? Okay. Nobody2230 asks, if you think golf is boring, have I ever tried or heard of lawn bowls? Never heard. It sounds like frolf to me. Anthony405 asks, which would you consider most important in a game? Gameplay or story? Well, how many games have absolutely no gameplay? Empire Total War, Lord of the Rings Conquest has just a little bit, so it's worse than that. No gameplay. Flight simulators and football managers sort of don't have gameplay. It's not really a game there. Tabletop games that aren't actually on a computer don't have gameplay. Well, no, they do. Never mind. More like Dungeons and Dragons doesn't really have gameplay. So those are the games that don't have gameplay. Or story. How many games don't have story? How many games have story? Like a third of them? So I would say that if you don't have gameplay, you generally don't have a game. If you don't have story, who cares? Like, do you need a story for Pong, or for Pac-Man, or for a lot of these simplistic games? I try to create stories for a lot of these, but story's not too important. DolPhinHaterPieLoVer asks, if your left foot was made of food, would I eat it? Of my favorite food, would I eat it? No, then I wouldn't be able to walk around. DolPhinHaterPieLoVer asks, also, would you rather have your hands made of bacon or cheese? I'm guessing bacon, because cheese would crumble and break easily. Bacon would at least count as a type of a meat, so maybe I'd be able to use it still. Pleasant Jimmer asks, have I kissed or made out with anyone yet? No, never. Never made out or kissed anybody. Insert sarcasm or notifier.